Welcome back. Welcome back. We spent a couple of weeks. We had technical difficulties, but I think that we got those resolved. I hope so, because I kind of went into remission here. I had to do something. I just love being on the air with you guys, and it didn't happen for a couple of weeks, and I feel disappointed. However, we had the best of What's Up, Doc? And Harold Miller again, and boy, I'll tell you, so far, Harold Miller, he's over 28,000 people reached just himself. Oh my God, I'm telling you, what a performer, and people just absolutely levitate to him. He's he's a likable guy, and you meet him, you like him, and so that's what's happening, And so I want to, again, welcome you to What's Up, Doc? And I have a very special guest today. This is all new. Normally we have the entertainers and everything else. We have Lee, all right? And Nashold, Lee Nashold, he's the behind-the-scene guy. All right, he's with all the camera guys, so he's got to deal with the directors, the producers, the makeup, everybody behind the scene. This is what he does. How interesting today! Today I'm going to absolutely love. All right. In the meantime, we have to talk about our sponsors. Right. Number one sponsor, Wainema Ranch. Wainema Ranch. Let me tell you, this takes a lot of dedication. This is a wild horse sanctuary, and this is at border town, all right? Let me tell you, you can certainly go out there anytime you like. They welcome guests to come on out, take a look to see what they're doing, and they are doing a wonderful, fabulous job. It takes a special person to be dedicated to care for these wild Mustangs 24/7, and that's exactly what they do. We have Shari, Floyd, and of course we have Eddie Floyd, and they are the principal owners of the Wainema Ranch. And I want you to go on their webpage, WaineMaRanch.com. If you like to volunteer, boy, they're just waiting for you. There's lots of work to be done at the Wainema Ranch. And they will really appreciate it. And then you can get out there and actually get your hands dirty and look at some of these beautiful animals that they care for daily. I'm telling you, you'll get hooked. You'll get hooked on it. The fact is that we would like to have you come out and volunteer anyway. They need your help. And here's a picture. Here's a glossy picture. This looks like about 50, 60 head of horses. All right, how wonderful is that? This absolutely beautiful shot, and that came out of the webpage, WaineMaRanch.com. All right, and also these pictures right here. If you ever come out, you might get a filming crew right here. You might get a filming crew, and down here we have Lacey J. Dalton. All right, she's part of the Wainema Ranch. How cool is that? To meet Lacey J. Dalton at the Wainema Ranch. How cool would that be? That'd be very cool. And then they have tours. You want to take a tour? They'll put you on a horse and they'll tour around the place. And there's Shari right there and Eddie. All right, how cool? Very cool. All right, WaineMaRanch.com. All right, thank you for that. And now we move on to look at here. This is new. Virginia City Insider. All right. This here is a publication that's very, very new. They're going into the second part of the how can I say it's the second segment of the Virginia City Insiders. And what's kind of cool about this is that the people that do live in Virginia City, the ones that I've interviewed, guess what? They get to be inside this magazine. And that interview will be all on type, and they'll get to know, well, what's big about Virginia City is that tourism. All right, when you come into Virginia City, you get to take home this magazine right here, and you'll have the people that actually live in Virginia City and a history of that. And so this is going to be very, very, very cool magazine to obtain. Cameron Hawkins, publisher. Cameron Hawkins, publisher. He has 3 magazines so far, and his biggest magazine gets out to 160 countries, for crying out loud. 160. I happened to be on the front page of that last year, and so great exposure. And this one here, I'm sure it will be the same. It's in its infancy right now, but it's certainly going to grow. And it's like our guest today. He'll be one of the special guests inside this magazine too. And he doesn't know it yet, but because he has lots to say today and some good stuff. All right, I happen to be on the last pages. All right, these are my pages. All right, and if you want to know a little bit about me, all right, here's a trophy for the movies I've done, the Westie Award. All right, best director, best producer, best script, right here. How wonderful is that? And then you can read about some of that. And over here, here's that Sandy Lene. She wrote a book about me, for crying out loud. Her words were, you're the most interesting man I ever met. I'd like to write your biography. Okay, let's do it. And so she did. Here, it's right there. Well, tell you what. Here it is. Here it is. How wonderful. And my webpage is Doc Durden, which is DOCDURDEN.com. All right, DocDurden.com. Cameron Hawkins actually built that webpage, a miracle man. I've had several web pages in the past. Okay, they're, wasn't very excited about them. But I'm excited about that. We have to go to break. We'll be back with Lee Nashold. How about that? All right, stay with us. All right, we are back, and this is What's Up, Doc? And I'm the host. My name is Doc Durden, and my special guest today, Lee Nashold. Lee Nashold, and he's behind-the-scene guy, and I can't wait for to hear what he has to say. Lee, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Doc.
Absolutely. I'm very, very excited today because I love hearing what goes on behind the scene. Everybody does.
Well, I hope I live up to that expectation.
What's that?
I hope I live up to that expectation.
No, you will. You will, because I know you. You work with a wonderful friend of mine. You guys are best buddies. You have been for a lot of years, and that's Jim Clark. Jim Clark's been on the show, and he's a fan favorite also. And I just have to say one thing, that when you do speak, you speak your volume up a little bit. No, just you, because we're picking it up on this. They're okay. The phone, I need to have you speak up a little louder, like I do. I'm just making sure that we all hear Lee. And so my first question, of course, as I usually do, I kind of find out a little background about Lee. And so Lee, where'd you grow up at?
Well, I'm an Eastern Shore boy from Maryland.
Ah, Maryland.
Yeah, I grew up in an agricultural community. They had farmers, watermen, crabbers, fishermen like that. And that's what I, was surrounded by. So it was, even though Maryland is an East Coast state, it's only, where I lived was 75 miles from D.C. and about the same from Baltimore, Maryland. Don't associate with it.
Yeah, you kind of, yeah. Yeah.
Where I lived was split by the Chesapeake Bay. So the Eastern Shore is where all the rural and the agricultural communities were, and the other side was Annapolis, Baltimore, D.C.
All right, but okay, you went to school in Maryland.
I did. I went to high school. I graduated from North Carolina High School, Caroline County, and then after that, I went into the Navy.
Ah, Navy.
Yeah, I spent 4 years in the Navy. And there I was I attained the rank of E6, a first-class petty officer. And then I was involved in the maintenance of helicopters. I was a helicopter test air crewman.
Ah, interesting.
And then I 2 deployments, and then after I finished all that, you know, of course, when I was in the service, they sent me to a truckload of schools, technical schools, and they range from Memphis, Tennessee, to North Island Naval Air Station, to even went to Fightertown one time to take a course.
Or did you?
And that was for a F4 ejection seat school. Now, ejection seats don't do you much good in helicopters, but somehow I ended up.
Yeah, that would kind of smush you, wouldn't it, a little bit? Yeah.
But, you know, I was able to get a ride in an F4 Phantom one time, and I had to have that to actually go.
Now, tell me about that experience in an F4. Not many people have that experience. That is wonderful.
Well, it was my favorite jet fighter of the era.
What year was that?
That would have been 69.
All right, 1969. F4.
So, you know, I was attending one of the technical schools in North Island, and the instructor caught me daydreaming, and I tuned into him just before he called on me, was able to answer the question. And he after the class, he asked me to stage, "You really like those planes, don't you?" And I said, F4 is the best. You know, that's the great fighter. And he says, "How would you like to go up in one?" I said, "No." "Yeah, I want to go up in one." And he says, "I'll see what I can do." Well, our instructor was a civilian, so I didn't put any stock in what he had to say. In the following week, he told me I had to report to Fightertown, you know, where Top Gun used to be.
Yeah.
Miramar Naval Air Station. And when I was there, you get this vertical acceleration as though you were coming out of the jet.
Wow.
So, did that.
So you're doing this. No, you're driving in a simulator like this.
No, it's simulating being ejected from a
Ejected.
jet. Yeah.
Oh, ejecting off the seat.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so they have a simulator that actually is an ejection seat and it gives you the same sensation?
Yes.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, so you're sitting there, it's on a rail, and you get this vertical acceleration as though you were coming out of the jet.
Wow.
So, did that.
Now, that's a lot of G-force. Do you remember what that was?
No.
No. Yeah.
I remember it was pretty exciting.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And then so I go back to the school, and I get held behind a few days later, and the instructor says, "Go down to the flight line after we get out of class." I said, "What for?" And I'll never forget this guy, and he was a lieutenant commander. And I went down, he says, "Are you Petty Officer Nashold?" And I said, "Yeah." And I said, "So you ready to take your ride?" I said, "Yes, sir." So they put me in a flight suit and a G belt, you know, to fight the G forces. And off we went. And when we took off from San Diego, you know, it was kind of boring. We were doing about 500 knots, you know, about 6,000 feet.
500 knots.
Well, that's nothing.
That's nothing.
Yeah. So I asked him, I says, "Commander, I thought we were going for a ride." He says, "Don't be too anxious." You know. He said, "I had to get clearance from the civil authorities, the FAA, and whatever, to do what I want to do." So, okay. So and he says, "And we don't want to break the sound barrier too close to San Diego." I go, "Got it." So we go out, I don't know how far. And then he says, "Are you ready?" He says, "Yes, sir." And he says, "I'm going to pull an old combat maneuver. I'm going to go in an afterburner, and I'm going to fly toward the sun." I said, "Okay." So we're going from 6,000 feet. He hit afterburner. I thought the plane blew up.
Really? Now, this is the sound that's just.
We went vertical to 38,000 feet in a heartbeat, and I thought we were going to hit the sun.
Really? Yeah.
It was the most exhilarating and most acceleration that I've ever experienced in my life. And then we pushed over 38,000.
38,000.
That's when I started experiencing the first of the G-forces, you know.
Okay, yeah.
So he took me through all the acrobatics, and I was very proud of myself that I didn't throw up in my oxygen mask.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Yeah, I would have. I guarantee you. I would have. Unfortunately, I have a little weakness in that area. But
that
yeah.
That was a very memorable, probably the most memorable thing I did.
Heck yeah. Yeah, you're very, very privileged to be able to do that. Not many that I know of, and an F4, and afterburner, straight up, and you're thinking that you're going to hit the sun. That's how. Yeah. How cool was that?
It was really cool.
Yeah.
And I've often wanted to contact that pilot, but I'm sure he's passed on by now. It's quite an age difference in us at that time.
Okay. Yeah.
He was a lieutenant commander.
All right. Yeah. So then, boy, I hate to leave that. So you get discharged from the Navy, or is there any more notable stuff in the Navy? I know there's more, but anything?
Yeah, there was one thing I was particularly proud of too.
All right.
I participated in the Apollo 14 recovery.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, now how cool is that?
Yeah, we went out to the South Pacific, and that's where I had to cross the equator and had to do the Neptune's.
Oh, so everybody has to do this.
Yeah. Officers listed, everybody.
So what'd you have to do?
Oh gosh, they made you put on your uniform inside out and backwards.
Okay, yeah.
And then they had all these different things. You got to go see the royal barber, and they just take a clippers and go right down the center of your head.
All right, so now you're looking stupid because now your uniform is on backwards,
Right.
and now you have a reversed mohawk.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right.
So you need to go to the royal dentist. This is Neptune's royal court, right? And he has this god awful concoction in like a ketchup squeeze bottle, and he squeezes that in your mouth, and you can't help but just hurl.
Really, yeah.
It is not a pleasant experience to go through.
Uh,
And then they have a group of guys to make sure that you're going through the line at the prescribed pace, not too fast, not too slow, and they have cut-off fire hoses that they're whacking you in the butt with. I don't know if they're still allowed to do that, but they sure did it then.
And that must have felt absolutely wonderful.
But then once you do that, it's a permanent part of your service record. That's how serious.
No kidding. It is very serious then. So you've been initiated, and that's a routine that they go through with everybody. Same thing. But you don't know if that continues on to this day.
Probably not to that extent.
Yeah.
I'm sure they still have
Something.
the ritual.
Yeah.
Because everything's been toned way down over the years.
Wow. Now that's cool to be actually in your official record.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it means something,
Yeah.
big time. Yeah. Yeah.
They give you a huge
Well,
plaque.
This has been this segment has been absolutely wonderful. Can't wait to come back. We're going to break. This is What's Up Back. We have Lee Nashold here in the house. Come on back. All right. How about that, huh? That's some cool stuff. If you, and also being live, if you have any friends that you want to say hi to, hi or whatever. Or.
I'd like to say hello to all my 601 vigilantes.
Oh, yes.
Vigilance
Virginia City.
Brothers.
Yes.
I am now the new chairman.
You're the chairman.
Yeah, I just became the new chairman.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And,
Now, that group's been around a long time. And so when did the 601 start up again? I know it's got a big history behind it.
I know the exact date when they started up again. I'm not sure, but Fred Dutton is
Yes.
the one who got our group going.
Okay, all
Our
right.
501c3.
Yeah, okay,
Raise money,
yeah.
and we make contributions.
Yeah.
And most recently, we put the 2 flagpoles in at the cemetery.
Yes, you did. I was there.
We've been responsible for the repair of a lot of the fence and adding the fence around the cemetery.
Okay, yeah.
And we would like to do more, to kind of clean it up.
Yeah, yeah.
And maybe some headstone restoration. But what would really be nice is for us to get a registry of who's actually in that cemetery that has some significance.
Yes.
Historically.
That would be wonderful. Yeah. That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Now I do remember a 601 event that I was involved in, and that was at the Opera House and this is where the David John and Lacey J, you guys had them Valentine's Day, and I filmed it. So there's almost 2 hours of Lacey J and David John with Dale Poney, which is a fan favorite of my guest also. He's been on the show several times, and also Doc with David John. He was on the fiddle, and he was accompanying David John, who both have been my guest also on What's Up, Doc. And Lacey J, well, all 4 of them have been my guests. How wonderful is that? So I was there filming that concert, and let me tell you, it was an absolutely brilliant concert. I gave that to I gave the finished product to Dean, David John's wife, and I hope that she does something with it, because it was that good. It was an absolutely wonderful concert because they shared the stage. He was singing a couple songs, and then they would talk a little bit, and then she would sing a couple songs, and then they talk a little bit, and then it was just a wonderful format, and first time I've ever seen it, and I'm glad I was able to film that. So. So that's a little footnote. Here, Sherman, right here. Here. Brand new. All right. 601, big history. They go back to the 1800s. Huh? All right, we're back, and this is What's Up, Doc. I'm Doc Durden. I'm your host today, and guess what? Lee Nashold here today. And if you missed our first segment, guess what? You'll be able to see it tomorrow night when I put this thing together. What an interesting segment that was. All right, so we did a lot of talking on catch up. He was a passenger on an F4. He was the passenger on an F4. Who does that? All right. Then he was part of the Apollo mission and the recovery of, and then he got down there close to the equator, and there's an initiation that you go through, and didn't know that, and boy, I tell you, that was quite an initiation. But that initiation goes on as permanent record for the military. Now that's how important that is for them, and so now continue on. We got everybody caught up, so continue on with the Navy, and thank you for your service. I forgot to mention that, absolutely, and. I was a little bit part of the Navy. I was Marine Corps, so we're there. I was out of San Diego, MCRD, and then Anyway, so now we're in the Navy, and we're at the recorder at the equator, and he just got initiated, so we can continue on there, or we can go on to.
Well, I was honorably discharged from the Navy.
Okay, all right.
And then they did about 2 years in the Naval Reserves after that,
Mm-hmm.
and then I went on, and when I got out of the Navy, I'd already been accepted into the academy, the San Diego Police Department.
Oh.
And I was pretty proud of that fact because there were 3,500 applicants, and they got down to a 200-man waiting list.
Wow.
And then they created 2 academy classes where they had only 30 people in each class.
Mm-hmm.
In the class I was in, I was the only non-college graduate.
Was that right? Yeah.
And I felt a bit intimidated by that educational background by the other folks, but I did pretty good. There was only 3 points between me and the honor man.
Only 3 points.
Yeah.
Now, not only that, he's got a brain. He's got a couple of brain cells that actually coordinate and they do something. How cool is that? All right.
I went on, and of course I worked in patrol, and then for a while I started out in southeast San Diego, and then I was transferred down to South San Diego, which is San Ysidro, right at the border.
Oh, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then I went from there to the traffic division, became an accident investigator. But what I really wanted to do was go to motors.
Where?
Motorcycles.
Motorcycle. Yeah.
So I was able to do that but I couldn't go to motors until I had a year in accident investigation group.
Okay, yeah.
And then right at the end of that, I got selected, so I was very pleased.
All right, so now you're in the motorcycle division,
Right.
which to me is a lot scarier than having four wheels on the ground.
But I tell you what, I really enjoyed it. I liked it.
Liked it,
Yeah, and it kept me from having a partner.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. You only have to look after yourself.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was a pretty elite squad. There was only 28 of us.
28.
Yeah, at that time.
And that's like in San Diego County?
San Diego City.
City.
Yeah. And then to give you an idea how big the city limits are, New York City will fit in San Diego city limits.
Oh, so we're talking a huge amount of real estate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you run into the city limit, you're going south on Interstate 5 at Del Mar. That's where it's.
Or Del Mar. Okay. Wow.
And then all the way to the border.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. My daughter used to live in San Diego. I'm trying to remember La something.
La Jolla?
La Jolla. Is there another La Jolla? Probably La Jolla.
Mm.
Anyway, she works for. Yeah. All right. So now you are a motorcycle officer, and so you are probably involved with a lot of chases.
I didn't do many chases with a motorcycle because it was by choice.
Okay.
That's the one thing you don't want to do on a motorcycle.
Right. Right.
I was driving a Harley, and they're not the best handling when you're
Okay.
trying to do all
Yeah.
that stuff unless you're extremely talented on one of them. I was proficient, but I wouldn't call myself extremely talented.
Right. Right.
But I got into a few high-speed chases in squad cars.
Right.
You know, coming up from the border. Believe it or not, some of your, I'll call them co-workers,
Uh-huh.
2 Marines shot their way through the border going north.
Really?
Yeah. They were a couple of young guys, and they were smuggling marijuana north. And as they approached the check station, their customs, they panicked. They just got really scared. And when they got close, they stopped and they wouldn't proceed, and it kind of raised the red flags. And at the last minute, they just took off and
So they ran
the border.
the border.
And, just as they were running the border, I was coming onto the freeway, and off we went. And that chase lasted about 25 minutes.
Wow.
Finally, they crashed, and we were able to apprehend them.
Okay.
And then, the biggest chase I was in was there was a series of armed robberies at 7-Eleven stores.
Yes.
Okay, and they were using a car that was a very high performance car. It was a Plymouth Roadrunner. And to be honest with you, our squad car couldn't keep up with it.
Exactly. Oh yeah.
So at that time, I was driving an experimental Chevrolet Nova from General Motors,
Yeah.
Sentis 5, and they had these big performance engines in them.
Okay. All right.
The Z28 suspension.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
it. They were a little hot rod.
Yeah.
And I was driving one. And there was a squad car trying to pursue these guys, and then, I was able to come again. I came on the freeway from a clover leaf as they were going by. It was just timing, and I took over the chase. And they had to laugh because the guy that I passed, the other officer said, "You went by me so fast that the emblem on the side of the police car came off." I'll never forget him saying that. But that car was really quick. It was light.
Yeah.
And that chase lasted almost 40 minutes and ended in another crash. And we ended a series of probably about 25 armed robberies on that one.
Wow. Wow.
But the coolest thing in the world was getting in a high-speed chase, but
Well, and it is, because I'm sitting in my easy chair at home, and I'm watching you guys on TV, and it's very exciting. But to be actually in pursuit physically, I don't know about that myself. But that's very cool. So you ended that career about when?
Well, about 1978.
Oh, 78, yeah. And in between, you had college in there also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
believe it or not, and I don't know how I did it,
Yeah.
but I was working full time, and then I was going to Chapman University full
Mm-hmm.
time.
Wow.
And I decided I just wanted to get that over with.
Sure.
So I finished it in 3.5 years by going to summer school.
Wow.
You know.
Yeah.
But I'm not a great student. I don't really like it,
Yeah.
you know, that much. But I knew that I had to do that to really advance if I wanted to.
Yeah.
And that's when I obtained my advanced post certificate, which is the highest you can get.
Yeah. Good. Excellent.
You know, and then you know, I completed all that. But then, you know, things were changing with the PD. It was becoming a lot more political than it used to be.
Mhm.
They changed chiefs,
Mm-hmm.
and the new chief was he was very politically oriented. He wanted to be like the next mayor and
Sure.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And,
So he wasn't focused on you.
no.
He was focused on his next job. Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, I had to make a decision.
Right.
You know, I decided that I would move on. And the opportunity came up for me to go in the film business.
All right.
Okay. So from 78 to 79, I kind of did it part-time because I just wanted to stick my toe in the water.
Sure.
See what it was really
Yeah.
like. And
Yeah.
I wanted to do it. And I really liked it. And I liked driving the camera cars. So what's a camera car? Camera car is a modified pickup truck that, you know, the suspension's been modified. There's all types of tubing, and there's a top platform, a front and rear platform. There's a generator on board to supply power for lights.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got normally a minimum of 4 camera mounts on it. And we do a lot of towing too. So when you see the actors driving, they're not driving, we're towing.
You're towing him. Yeah. Yeah.
And then, but it looks real.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's very real.
Sure.
And then sometimes we use what is called a process trailer, which is a real low boy trailer. They drive the car on it, and you really can't tell you're on a trailer because it's so low.
Mm-hmm.
But that enables them to use like camera dollies, like the Fisher dolly and
Yeah.
Chapman dolly, to be all around the car.
All around the car.
And you can get these really different shots, and you can see this shot in motion as they're driving down the road.
Yes.
You know, and they're doing like a big, you know, horseshoe around the car. That's how they did that. And you're going, well, how can they do that when they're driving down the road? Well, one, they're not driving down the road.
Now, see, that little piece right there is very interesting. No, I had the concept about the tow thing, but the trailer thing, this is something new. That's cool. And have you ever seen a camera truck? Yeah, it does. It has all these rails and all the hookups for these cameras. And if it's one's loaded and it has the cameras lighting and everything, the holy, geez, what's going on here? And it is. It's impressive, actually, to see one of those camera trucks. And how cool is that? So there's a little bit that I'm appreciating because I didn't know about the trailer. And yeah, these are some good shots. So how are they doing that? This is how they do it. How cool is that? So now you have a low boy trailer, and you're getting all these fantastic shots. Okay, let's continue on.
We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Oh, we are taking a break again. Man, we're just getting into it. All right, come on back. Lee Nashold right here today. This is What's Up, Doc. My name is Doc Durden. Come on back. All right. All right. We are back. All right. And this is What's Up, Doc. And Lee Nashold. Here. I'm telling you, I'm being totally entertained. All right. I'm your host, Doc Durden, and we're going to continue on with the experiences that he has backstage on some of these blockbuster films that he's been involved in. Cool, just cool stuff. And I know that during the break, you were talking about, I guess, Dante's Peak, and you were coming off a logging road. So yeah, let's start from the top on that and talk about this. Because normally what happens, I take out the commercial time, and so this will be fresh. So yeah, start that over again from Dante's Peak, and he's driving the camera truck, and he's on a logging road. So you can imagine, all right?
Yeah, well, you remember the scene where the lake was turned into acid?
Yes.
Killing the fish and all that.
Yes.
They were escaping with the Suburban, the
Mm-hmm.
green Suburban.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that Suburban was actually what they called a buck.
A buck.
Yeah, it was gutted. I mean, the only thing
Oh, okay,
that was
yeah.
there was just basically the cab.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it was sitting on the process trailer, no wheels, no nothing.
Oh, I got you. Okay, just a frame. Just yeah.
Had the seats in it and
Yeah,
interior, but
yeah.
that's it, which enabled them to get really close in the front. And
Right.
all that. In front of that vehicle were 5 cameras, and they were all on bungee cords, and we used to call it the bungee cam.
Yeah.
You know, and
That's because the log road is
Yeah.
divots.
and they wanted to show the action and
Okay.
some more shaky shows.
More shaky, okay.
More exciting.
Okay, I
than
got
it
you.
could be.
I got you.
And the director of that movie was an Australian, but the DP, he's now a director. You know, was Andrei Bartolovac. You know, if you know that
No,
name or not.
no.
He's done some really good movies.
Good stuff, huh?
And he's my favorite DP and director. And we've done a lot of neat shows, but that guy was always pushing me to the edge and demanding my very best performance, you know, and fortunately I was able to pull it off and we all survived.
Yeah, yeah.
But coming down that road, like I was saying, we were simulating them flying away from the acid lake, and E.T., Entertainment Tonight,
Mhm.
told me they wanted to set up down the road and film was going by. So yeah, sure. I said, no, you know, we're coming down the road. And to my surprise, I'm flying down this road with this trailer behind me, all this weight, and there they are in the center of the road with their camera. You know, and I start hitting the horn, and all of a sudden they woke up and realized where they were. And they grabbed the camera and they dove over the side, and I figured that was the last I'd ever see them. Because you have a big wall here, a rock, and this was just a drop. So we got down to the bottom, turned around, and came up, and like I was telling you during the break, I saw them flying up, you know, over the side. And
Now, I'm thinking, if I'm going to photograph you, I'm going to be off to one side or the other because I know they're coming off this hill and they're coming down.
well, you know, somebody with half a brain
Yeah.
and awareness
Yes.
would figure that out.
Yes.
But no one was hurt. They were okay. And like I said earlier, I stopped and I said, what were you guys thinking? You know, so we continued up the top and continued shooting. And then on that same scene, what was really nervous for me is that there was a special effects guy. Now, we have a nickname for special effects guys.
Oh, let me hear it.
We call them special attempts.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
And this particular crew attempted a lot of stuff and it just failed. So one of the things that was going to happen is as I did a swiper drive-by with them behind me, they're going to set off a slide, an avalanche slide. And I said, oh, I sure hope they planned this one right. You
Well,
know,
naturally.
you know, but knowing their track record.
Sure. Yeah.
But it went all right. We got it done.
Got it done.
And, you know, in that show, I had a personal first where Andre, the DP, director of photography, put 12 cameras on my camera car.
12.
12.
Never heard of that before.
Neither did I.
There you go. 12.
So we got them on there, and he wanted them all within 2 inches of each other.
Wow.
This is Andre. What the heck? You know, these are all wide lenses. You're not going to see 2 inches between the cameras. You know, but he was very insistent, and so we got it done. And I was the volcanic blast, the plasma blast. You know, going through Wallace, Idaho. You know, flying around. You know, doing all this drifting stuff, and then into the cave. You remember the cave door?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I went
Yeah.
right to that door and stopped. Not that far away.
Wow.
So that was pretty exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just, you know, one thing after the other like that. And then when they were driving on the volcanic rock that was on fire, you know,
Yes.
I was the one that was, of course, wasn't on fire.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I was simulating.
Yeah.
it with
Sure.
the camera
Yeah.
car, you know.
Yeah. No, that's good stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
they tested my skills.
Yeah. Now, another movie that's highly interesting to a lot of people is Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Now tell us on that, because that was a cool movie.
Well, I did Tokyo Drift. And one interesting point about Tokyo Drift, it wasn't shot in Tokyo. We shot in Glendale, California.
Glendale, California, absolutely.
In various parts of LA.
Yeah.
But in Glendale, there was a closed big box store. It was no longer in existence, but it had a huge parking lot. And so what they did is they built that downtown scene area of Tokyo right
Yes,
there.
yes.
They did it right there.
Right there.
And we did it at night, so you couldn't see any background.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the way it was lit up, you couldn't see any of the residual lighting from the rest of the city.
Yeah, but that made it cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
And there was 17 weeks of second unit I did on that. Second unit is the stunt unit. Okay.
Oh, they're just starting. Okay. Yeah.
What's also interesting, the actors in that movie probably didn't drive 100 yards. You know, they were either towed
Sure.
or, and what I would do too was shoot what they call plates. And I would, shoot this footage, they put several cameras on the front and the back and shoot out the side and the back and the front and out the side.
Wow.
And then I would drive alongside of the other stunt guys who were driving stunt cars, and I was the actor's car. So then they would put him on stage with green screen or blue screen or whatever,
Sure.
and mix the two footage.
I got you.
Made him look like he was
Sure.
driving.
Yeah.
But it was actually me who was the actor.
There you go.
And I had to do that for each one. And there were so many different paths and routes they took, I couldn't remember them all. So what I did was I asked the second unit director, very famous guy, Terry Leonard, I said, can I put those guys as a passenger with me so they can tell me the path they took? He says, I can't remember.
Exactly,
Different
yeah,
guys,
yeah.
Path. He says, absolutely.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So, it was a team effort on that. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I worked with some really good drifter drivers, championship drifter drivers. They were great.
Isn't that something?
And they were true professionals.
Yeah.
They could hit their marks. It was they made my job a little easier.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was fun working with them and then nerve-wracking at other times.
Sure.
We were up in Griffith Park, going down the curvy roads of Griffith Park, and then they would wet the streets down to get a certain look,
Mhm.
photographically. But what does that do? It reduces your coefficient of friction.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
The
Yeah.
tires aren't grabbing as well as
Right,
they should.
exactly.
So that raises the anxiety.
Sure.
level,
Yeah.
So,
Now, did the drift drivers like that? Because now it's not so hard to get that car drifting because you have a slippery street now.
yeah. Well, these guys were such pros that they didn't really care. what
Yeah,
surface they were on.
yeah.
They knew how to adjust and,
Yeah.
but they weren't dealing with a 8,600-pound pickup truck like I was.
Yeah, with 1,000 cameras hanging off the ends and everything. Now, now you had a couple other blockbusters that we talked about earlier.
Oh, Thelma and Louise.
Yeah, Thelma and Louise. Now, what a great movie that was, and you're on the set of that one.
Yeah, that was the first movie I ever had to interview for.
Oh, okay, okay.
And it was Ridley Scott was the director, and the guy whose department I was under says, Ridley wants to interview you. And I said, okay. So I went in, and I'd never had to do that, but went through that interview and got the show, and I must have towed those gals 500 miles because we were all over the place.
Oh my God! We just touched the surface here, unfortunately. So we have to bring Lee back. One of the most interesting guests we ever had, and I appreciate Lee being here. We're out of time, so we do have to leave you. But what's going to happen right now? I'm going to stay with Lee and finish up on that story on live Facebook, so you'll be able to hear that. All right, we're out. Thanks for tuning in. All right, this is Doc. This is What's Up, Doc. My name is Doc Durden, and we had Lee right here for the whole segment. And I'm telling you, it's just absolutely wonderful, wonderful. All right. Thank you for tuning in. All right. Now we're going to continue on here with live Facebook with Thelma and Louise, where you had to try out for Thelma and Louise.
Well, it was an interview, not an audition, and he asked some of the strangest questions that didn't have anything to do with the filming. He's this and that, how long. Well, there were a few questions. How long you been doing this? And he says, well, your reputation precedes you. And he says, and another guy I'm interviewing today as well.
Yeah.
I said, well, that must be Lee Orlando. He goes, yeah. Okay.
Not many of you guys. Yeah.
So, we were doing the talk, and he looked at me and goes, you a vet? I said, what? He says, are you a vet?
Oh.
And I said, you mean a veterinarian or a veteran?
Yeah.
And he goes, a veteran. And I go, yeah, I am. He goes, Vietnam vet? Yeah, I am. And that was like the end of that conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, a couple other things that were unrelated, and then I walked out, and Leo was walking in, and he said, how'd it go? We were friends. I said, Leo, that was the strangest interview I ever had. And so I was talking to the transportation coordinator, whose department we're directly under. And when he walked out, his interview was a lot shorter than mine. And he said, boy, you're right, that was weird. And then before I got out of there, Ridley had made up his mind.
Anyway, yeah.
He said, okay.
He's going through the formalities. Yeah. Yeah.
You're getting it.
Yeah.
So then off we went, and we started locally in the Los Angeles area. We went up on the Grapevine and shot up there, and then we dropped down to what is considered Grapevine, a little community there, and we shot there with the gas station where they came in and they robbed and ran off.
Yeah.
We filmed that there.
All right.
And then when we were finished with that segment, then we moved to Colorado.
Colorado. Okay.
So there's one thing that happened to me there was that Ridley did not want me to leave, and start driving the camera car to get back to Colorado. He says, can we swap out camera cars and we'll do it with your regular one instead of the one we were using, and have one of your other guys drive to Colorado so to be there. I says, yeah, we can do that. And he goes, okay, fine. So we finished that segment, and then it's time to go to Colorado. And I'm talking to the producer, and I went, how am I supposed to get to Colorado? And he goes, you're flying with the crew.
There you go.
Never did that before.
Yeah.
That was a first for me.
That's the first,
Out on
yeah.
the road.
How cool is that?
It was,
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool.
All right, we're getting kicked out of here, and but it will continue. I'm going to remember exactly where we're at, and we're going to have Lee back because he's got so much more information and there's so much more back scene stuff. I'm telling you, it was great. It was great. All right, thanks, Lee, for being here. I appreciate it, and we got to have you back.
Well, I'll be glad to come.
All right, good,
Thanks,
good.
Doc.
All right, thank you very much. All right, we're out.